A king held $5 billion in his hands and lost it all in a single night. This isn't a movie plot. This is the most expensive mistake in medieval history. And the treasure? It's still out there. 808 years ago, the most powerful man in England made one decision that destroyed everything he'd built. We're talking about wealth that would make modern billionaires jealous. Gold, jewels, crowns, worth more than the entire GDP of some countries today. But here's what makes this story absolutely insane. Every single piece of that treasure vanished in a matter of hours. And despite centuries of searching, no one has ever found it. This is the story of King John's lost fortune, and why it matters more than you think. Meet King John of England. If you think modern politicians are bad with money, wait until you hear this. By 1215, John controlled what historians estimate was $5 billion in today's currency. That's more liquid wealth than most medieval kingdoms saw in a century. Gold from conquered territories, silver from taxes, jewels from ransoms, art worth millions. But John had a problem. Actually, he had several problems. First, he was spending money faster than any king in history. Wars in France, paying mercenaries, buying loyalty. The royal treasury was hemorrhaging wealth daily. Second, his own nobles hated him. They were so fed up with his financial disasters that they literally forced him to sign the Magna Carta, basically telling him, "Stop spending our money or we'll overthrow you." But what no one expected was that John would make a decision that would cost him everything. It's October 1216. John is on the run. The English barons have risen up against him and his empire is crumbling. But he's not running empty-handed. Picture this. An entire convoy of horse-drawn wagons loaded with the crown jewels, golden chalices, ancient artifacts, and chests overflowing with coins. This is literally England's entire national treasure, moving across the countryside in the dead of night. John's plan? Escape through a marshland called the Wash, a treacherous tidal area on England's eastern coast. And this is where it all started to go wrong. The tide was supposed to be low. John's guides assured him it was safe. But as the convoy entered the marsh, something went catastrophically wrong. The tide turned faster than anyone anticipated. Within minutes, the ground beneath the treasure wagons became quicksand. Horses panicked, wagons overturned, and $5 billion worth of medieval treasure sank into the marsh. John barely escaped with his life, his treasure gone forever. But what happened next is even more shocking. John died just 11 days later. Some say from dysentery. Others believe he died from the sheer shock of losing everything. But here's where this story gets absolutely wild. That treasure has been haunting people for over 800 years. Professional treasure hunters have spent millions trying to find it. The British government has conducted official searches. Metal detector enthusiasts have combed every inch of that marshland for decades. The result? Nothing. How do you lose $5 billion of treasure so completely that centuries of searching turn up absolutely empty? The answer might terrify you. The Wash isn't just any marshland, it's a shifting, living landscape where the geography changes with every single tide. What was solid ground in 1216 is now underwater. What was underwater then might now be miles inland. Modern archaeologists using ground-penetrating radar have identified over 400 potential burial sites. Each excavation costs tens of thousands of dollars, and every single one has turned up nothing but medieval pottery and animal bones. But what scientists discovered next changed everything. Recent geological surveys suggest the treasure isn't buried in the marsh at all. The tidal forces that night were so powerful that the entire treasure chest might have been swept out to sea, scattered across the ocean floor for miles. That $5 billion could be anywhere. Buried under centuries of silt in the North Sea, split among dozens of underwater locations, or worse, maybe it was never lost at all. What if King John staged his own treasure loss? Think about it. John was facing civil war. His nobles wanted him bankrupt. What better way to hide your wealth than to fake losing it? Some historians now believe John secretly moved his treasure before the marshland crossing, that the lost convoy was filled with decoy chests, that John died not from shock, but from the relief of successfully executing the greatest financial deception in history. If this is true, it means $5 billion in medieval treasure is still hidden somewhere in England. waiting, protected by the greatest lie ever told. And John took that secret to his grave. This isn't just a story about lost treasure. This is a lesson about power, greed, and the dangerous game of hiding wealth. John's financial recklessness destroyed his kingdom. His desperate attempt to save his fortune cost him everything: his crown, his legacy, and possibly his life. But maybe the real treasure was never the gold or jewels. Maybe it was the lesson John learned too late, that true wealth isn't what you hoard, it's what you build. Still, somewhere out there, $5 billion waits to be found. And maybe, just maybe, someone will prove that the greatest mystery in medieval history was really the greatest heist ever pulled off. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button, because we're just getting started on the most incredible lost fortunes in history. And if you think you know where King John's treasure might be hidden, drop your theory in the comments below. Who knows, you might be the one to finally solve an 808-year-old mystery. Subscribe if you want to uncover more secrets that history tried to bury. Because trust me, this is just the beginning.